Oke. Eh, Bentar ya guys. Halo. Gimana cara pinnya ini? Oke, tunggu sebentar sampai kita muncul ya. Jadi yang para giveaway, just announcement, harus tunggu sampai akhir. Soalnya akan di-announce winnernya. Dan nanti kalau kalian disebut namanya, jangan lupa ketik ya di bawah, bilang it's me or ini gue or something like that gitu, oke? Okay? Alright, let's wait. Kita mana sih kita? Gue juga gak sabar kenalan sama Gitta ya, ntar. Sabar, did I missed her? Nope. Hey guys, masih work from home atau udah ke kantor yang kerja? Kalau gue udah di kantor, kalian gimana? Bentar ya guys, kita cek dulu. Sebentar, masih di rumah. Yang penting sehat selalu ya kalian ya, yang di rumah pun. Oh, pada masih banyak kuliah, masih muda-muda semua dong ini. Berarti gue merasa tua banget nih di sini. Okay, still waiting for Gitta guys. Sorry about that. Tunggu bentar ya, sabar. Terima kasih Glenda Lalebay. Hai Joshua. Sebentar ya. Oke, mana nih? Sebentar teman-teman, masih nungguin Gitta ya. Ini ya Gitta. Happy birthday to Yulia. Today is Gitta's mom's birthday, by the way. So if everybody wants to say happy birthday to Gitta's mom. Gitta, kemana Gittanya? Bentar ya, let me check again. Thank you tuh. Sebentar guys. Wait. Jadi fun fact guys, bahwa sebetulnya gue mungkin umurnya lebih dekat kepada Gitta's mom daripada ke Gittanya. Jadi gue manggil mamanya Gitta bukan tante tapi Ci. Okay, still waiting for Gitta. Not sure. She says she's joining in. Mungkin ada connection problem from her side. Sebentar ya guys. So pasti dia datang, cuma mungkin delay. Thank you. Oh, hello, Gitta's here. Wait, all right. Yeah. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Oh my
Nice to see you
gosh.
again.
Yeah. Nice to see you again. Oh my gosh, it's been so long.
I know. I mean, like, honestly, I miss you so much. I can't wait to like hang out again. And I'm so happy to
Kan?
be here. Thanks for having me today.
No, thank you so much. Jadi kita pakai bahasa Indonesia ya, Git ya.
Okay, I will try my best. I'm gonna put my brain on Indonesian bahasa mode right now.
Dan first of all, happy birthday to your mom. Tata happy birthday-nya hari ini ya, birthday-nya ya.
Yeah, how do you know?
I know everything.
Waduh, gawat deh.
I'm a
I
stalker.
promised her. Jadi aku udah janji kayak mau posting something special for her birthday.
Okay.
So, and she's just like waiting. She's just like, iya nih Git, kapan you post? Udah post belum? I'm like, tunggu mom.
By the way, Gitta's mom juga very happening kalau di Instagram ya kan. Dia juga banyak followersnya dan juga always up to date, very trendy. Jadi kalau kalian mau follow Gitta's mom, silakan ya @Yuli Git ya punya nickname.
Yua Agung.
Oh ya, Yuwa Yuliana. Oke, so gue udah follow dia dan kita pasti juga follow dia. Jadi lu kalau kalian mau cari bisa cari di followers kita, oke? Oke, Git. Gue mulai ya. So basically, thank you so much ya for the time here today. Nah, kalian mungkin tahu bahwa Gita itu orangnya benar-benar super girl. Gue panggil super girl karena pertama dia masih muda. Jadi bukan superwoman dulu, nggak kayak gue umurnya ya, udah tua gitu loh. Nah, Git, lu kan banyak banget responsibility dan juga title. Contohnya, lu adalah venture capitalist ya, entrepreneur, di mana lu sendiri membuat satu VC company, which is actually untuk perempuan dan umur lu tuh nggak common, nggak umum gitu loh, ya kan? Terus kedua, lu juga banyak sekali kegiatan di mana lu interview, training, seminar dan segala macam, ya kan?
Yeah.
Dan terakhir, so pasti ini yang paling keren yaitu adalah sebagai founder atau co-founder daripada Second Date Beauty Products, ya kan? Nah, sebetulnya jadi kalau orang kenal sama lu itu apa yang lu sebut lu tuh siapa gitu loh? Apa topinya lu pakai gitu loh?
Well, I always say, and it's okay if I use half bahasa, half English here. Jadi, whenever I get that question, I just say, honestly, I am just me. I consider myself like pretty dynamic, and I feel like that's what everybody should feel at juga gitu. It's so often that we usually put ourselves inside a box, you know. And I think a lot of the times when we ask little children about what they want to be when they grow up, you know, I got asked that questions many times. When I was growing up tuh banyak banget yang kayak tanya, Git, lo kalau udah mau gede kayak mau jadi apa nih gitu kan. The more I thought about that question, the more I realized that is the wrong question.
Okay.
In the end of the day, you should be yourself. And the right question to ask is, what do you want to do? So when you ask yourself, you know, don't ask yourself what you want to be, always ask yourself what you want to do. And I think that's where I really just like follow my heart. I ask myself that every single morning, setiap kali bangun pagi kayak, okay, of course nanya juga kayak sarapan apa gitu kan. Tapi juga nanya nih kayak hari ini saya mau ngerjain apa. Dan di dalam jangka waktu 5 tahun ini saya mau ngerjain apa. Dalam jangka waktu 10 tahun ini saya mau ngerjakan apa. Dan kenapa. Dan kenapanya tuh penting sekali. Jadi bukan, don't end at what you just want to do, but definitely think further, you know, like why. So whenever I get asked that question, I never respond with, oh, I am this or I am that, you know. I just say, this is what I do. This is what I do now. And this is why I do it. Oftentimes, I think that a lot of people, when we are younger, we tend to think like, oh, I just want to be this person, or I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a career woman. I want to be an entrepreneur. But they don't understand what it takes to get there. They don't understand the work it takes to get there. For example, you're saying like, I want to be an actress, right? But do you actually want to do what it requires you to do to become an actress?
Yeah. Itu good point banget sih.
Yeah. So every time someone asks me that, you know, in my head, I'm always like, I am who I am. I'm Gitta. and this is what I do, and this is why I do it.
Itu menurut gue advice-nya bagus banget ya, terutama untuk anak muda. Karena anak-anak muda ini kan kadang melihat sosok contohnya satu orang terkenal, misalnya let's say Bill Gates, orang kaya di dunia ya kan, sukses sekali, dermawan dan segala macam. Orang mau jadi Bill Gates, wah mulai pakai gayanya semua kayak Bill Gates. Tetapi banyak orang nggak sadar bahwa waktu jadi Bill Gates itu perlu banyak steps-nya sampai jadi Bill Gates, bener kan? Jadi tadi lu ngomong tuh benernya menurut gue advice yang bagus ke tuh anak muda, bener ya, Git ya?
Betul sekali, betul sekali. Yes,
Jadi
I
pas,
agree with that.
iya, jadi pas lu muda, maksudnya, oke, lu masih muda sih sekarang, tapi maksud gue pas lebih mudaan, suka ngomong gitu, pas lebih muda zaman dulu banget, lu pernah nggak sih cita-cita kayak mimpi atau gimana ya, sadar lu bisa jadi kayak hari ini gitu loh?
Well, I never think actually about what I am today. It's never something that crosses my mind, you know. I also don't know um, exactly like what people think nowadays, right? I just live life, and I just do what makes me happy and what makes other people happy. You know, my purpose in this life is to serve. So it's never crossed my mind to think about like, oh, I've gone so far. I think like the only thing that makes me happy is knowing, you know, that I've grown so much as a person. You know, maybe before, like I used to be, there has been like some maybe like negative traits that I was like, okay, I need to fix on this, I need to work on this. And then now I can feel more confident because I'm like, okay, I've worked on them and I've really, really improved. So that's the things that makes me happy. I think when I was really little, you know, I think I'm very fortunate that my parents, happy birthday, mom. They're very open-minded, and I think, you know, they never also box people into different kind of like, they always believe that people are dynamic, and I think that's when they are also like raising us, they believe that we are also dynamic as children, and they just support a lot of our curiosities, because I think like I particularly have so many curiosities. I think as a child, like I would be always that person who would like ask about every single thing, and they love it too because they're also very curious. So we would always like ask each other questions. Setiap kali kayak ke restoran gitu, kita duduk gitu kan. Habis itu mereka selalu tanya gitu, oh ini kira-kira ini restoran satu hari bisa serve berapa orang ya gitu kan. And then we all have to take a guess. Okay, kalau begitu omsetnya berapa ya? And then we all have to take a guess. Oh, what do you think that they could improve from this restaurant? Or what do you think that they are doing really, really well? And that's always like the conversation every single day. Nah, itu adalah satu example yang business related. Tetapi banyak sekali juga examples dengan pertanyaan yang my parents asked me that really inspire me to be more curious and become more dynamic. So I think I really owe it to them. And as a child, it's really just thinking about, you know, like, what do I want to do in the future, not really who I want to be. I always struggled with the question because a lot of people ask me when I was younger, it's like, you know, what's one sosok inspiratif gitu kan yang you look up to. And actually, I just had an interview with the United Nations just last week. So I answered all of their questions. And the one question that I did not answer, which they emailed me again, it's like, hey, you forgot to answer this question. I was like, yeah, well, I didn't answer it for a reason, right? Is tell us one inspirational figure. Because I honestly just like did not really believe in that question. I think you should just be yourself, you know?
Jadi tadi lu banyak cerita banget tentang example dengan your parents. Boleh nggak assume bahwa memang your parents yang bikin lu who you are today, tapi juga inspirasi buat lu gitu?
I think that my parents, a lot of, you know, how they think really inspired the way I think. And in fact, like it's number one to thinking, but number two, first and foremost, is actually the principles. You know, I know that my parents, my dad, my mom, myself, my brothers, we're all very different people. Kita tuh beda sekali. And I think in the end of the day, what they really, really instilled in their children, including myself, is really principles and values. Itu kayak dari semenjak kecil banget tuh sudah kayak berdiskusi tentang principle and values. Because I think we believe as a family that, you know, in the end of the day, kita nggak tahu ya kalau di hidup di dunia ini kan banyak circumstansi di mana kayak di luar our control. Some people are given more, some people are given less. And then there's also, you know, like in terms of skills and talents, some people are given more, some people are given less as well. But your principles and your values is what defines you. So I think one of the best things that my parents did, and I always thank them so much for this, is that when I was growing up, I usually always got good grades just because I felt like that was the right thing to do, you know. So I was very studious. Udah kerja keras gitu kan all throughout high school. Kalau pulang-pulang selalu dapet A or like, you know, A plus or like whatever. And then every time I showed this to my parents when I was younger, they never told me anything. They were just like, okay, you know. They didn't make that a priority. But every time I did the right thing, where, you know, they saw me helping out a person. I remember when I was younger, I started to also volunteer in a lot of like charities as well. Jadi kadang-kadang bersumbang, kadang-kadang kayak sumbang waktu juga di beberapa charities and organizations. That's the moment when they told me that they were proud of me. Or when I was struggling with a decision, and then I came to them and I said like, hey, I'm deciding between this and this, and then I made the right decision that was like honest, that was truthful. That's the times when they said they were proud of me. And I think after middle school, I think I never told them, you know, what I got for grades. I never told them about like what my academic achievements were. And even until now, that's not really the stuff that's the focus of the discussion. It's more about like doing the right thing.
Values, jadi values gitu ya.
Yes, absolutely.
Jadi that's one of the questions tadi one of the people asking me to you adalah nilai apa yang lu pegang yang kuat untuk menjalankan sukses sampai hari ini?
Well, first and foremost, I would ask how you define success, because I think that, you know, my journey has just begun, and I think that, you know, success is also a part of the journey. So we have to kind of like see the whole thing. And I also believe that one of the metrics that I would define my success is how many people that I can inspire, how many people that I can enable, how many people that I can empower to live better lives. So I think that the values that I do hold on to, that I believe will one day get me to a point where I can look back into my life and say, you know what, I'm like 70 and be like, okay, like this is like good. I did a good job with my life, right? Several things. Number one, I think integrity, I think it's really important. And I think it's so much easier said than done, but integrity is really who you are when no one is looking.
That's right.
It's who you are inside, and it's really what drives a lot of the decisions and things that you make. I think number two is just a sense of care for other people more than yourself. I think like I made this kind of like mental switch maybe like sometime after college, right? It's like I remember that, you know, I did things for myself, but then I realized that like this is not enough. In the other day, like actually I should always think about other people first. Like I consider myself as a vehicle to be able to serve other people. So I think when I made that mental switch, a lot of my decisions were focused and catered around like, how can I just be a tool in this world to do good?
Jadi lebih ada feeling empatik gitu ya?
Yes, I think so. It's empathic. I grew up like pretty robotic, to be honest. I was like a very robotic child, and I feel like I always did the right things, not because I felt like they were the right things, but it was because like society told you that they were the right things, right? So I think the value in just like understanding where your motivation is, that it's you do have a heart for other people, and you just are here to be able to like serve other people. I think that's like a pretty big like mental switch for me. I think one of the other values that I have is I think also just like perseverance and never giving up.
Yes.
And there's so many blockages in this world. You know, behind every one success, there's like 100 failures that you never hear about.
Okay. Actually, that's another question yang orang tanya adalah, lu kan kataan sukses banget, and you are successful right now. Ada orang tanya, actually, I think this is a very good question. Banyak orang nggak mau tahu, tapi actually this is very important. What is your lowest point in life?
My lowest point in life.
This is a very good question.
I'm getting red right. That's a really good question. I usually always get asked like, what's a failure? And then I would just like pick 1 out of 100, right? And then we'd all laugh about it. But my lowest point in life, Oh, okay. So I don't know if I can share this on Instagram Live.
Well, whatever you can share, you don't have to be personal or whatever, but whatever that you can maybe share to inspire people, encourage people.
Right. So I think it's really strange because actually the lowest point in my life was the point that really drove me to, gave me the motivation to just run after things very, very like with a gusto until now. It's really what gives me so much energy actually. And people ask like, why are you so energetic? It's because I experienced a really low point in my life one time.
Okay.
Um, so I think it was like when I was in college, and I back then I think that a lot of things happened. Um, I think like number one, I was on track to becoming like an investment banker, and I felt like okay, I should probably do like maybe 2 years in New York doing investment banking, and then I realized that like, hey, this is like not for me. I don't feel alive. I feel dead.
Mm.
And then that kind of like world, and that's at that point I was still focused on like what I want to be, right? Because everybody around me in college was like, okay, you either want to be a consultant or you want to be a banker. And
Yes.
then now and then at that moment in time it's like, oh no, I realized that I don't want to be a banker, you know what I mean? So then it was kind of like a really low point in my life that I was like really sad about. And at the same time I also broke up with my ex-boyfriend. So it was so it was so tough. And that was like it was just like everything at one go, and I stopped eating actually at that time.
Mm.
I couldn't eat,
Wow.
and I lost a lot of weight. um,
Well,
and it
you were
was
skinny now, but okay, you lost a lot. I can imagine.
yeah. So honestly, like people were just like very, and I was really scared too because like um it's not that I didn't want to eat, but it's just like so many things were on my mind at that time. And I think I was just like going through this like very crucial like growing phase, right? um and then like I think I had a lot of health problems because of that too. um
Mm.
it was like things that were just like very it was just like, and I basically, because of the health problems, I had to get like a blood checkup like every other day, and this was like sometime between like sophomore year in college. I can't believe I'm sharing this on Instagram Live, but that was a really really low point in my life, and I'm so glad that by the grace of God I recovered from it. And not only did I recover from it, but I got so many things out of it too. It gave me so much courage and so much confidence. I think a lot of times people think that what makes them different is what they should hide from the world in order for them to become accepted by the world. But actually, chances are what makes you different and what makes you weird, what makes you unique, what makes you strange is your strongest character. It's actually what's going to make you shine in the future if you polish it. And I think at that moment in time I realized that I actually am so much more, and I feel like there's so much like weirdness inside of me, and that's all like bubbled inside and I just can't let it out. And then the moment that I decided to take that, own it, accept it, not only accept it but celebrate it, and
Mm-hmm.
say like, hey, this is who I am. I know I'm weird. I'm not your typical like girl. You know what I mean? I have
Sure.
a lot of crazy ideas. I have a lot of things I want to do. The moment I decided that I'm going to celebrate this is really when everything started happening, for me. And the moment that I said like, okay, this is who I am, guys, I'm like, no more hiding, this is what I want to do. So yeah. And at
That's
that
really
at that
interesting.
time it was like pretty crazy because I actually dropped my senior year in college. I graduated from college, but I told my counselor, like, I don't need a fourth year in college. I'm already done with everything, right? And I said, okay, goodbye. And that was already like a huge step for me too, because I was like, I need to do what I want to do. I need to find myself. So I did college in 3 years and then went out.
Tapi justru makanya I think it's a good question because I really find that people when they have gone through the challenges and even worse situations, even like right now COVID, the pandemic, baru kelihatan orang-orang itu mana yang bagus, mana yang nggak bagus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ada orang dalam kasus-kasus pandemik ini ya komplain doang, cuma komplain-komplain nggak membantu sama sekali, bikin komentar-komentar yang actually nggak membantu. Tapi ada orang
Mm-hmm.
actually see the problem and try to find a way mungkin nggak bisa solve the problem, cuma trying to be better gitu loh. And I really appreciate people like that gitu loh. Even di
Yeah.
kantor gue, di companies gue bisa sekatan dari kasus pandemik ini, mana yang strong, mana yang nggak strong gitu loh. You know, so sometimes through difficult challenges, malu keluar kita punya actual character, bener kan ya?
Yeah, true. It's really through these hard times that, you know, you're polished to either become a diamond or or you just like get
Exactly.
covered by dust. Mm.
Right. Gita, mungkin ada orang juga nggak tahu lu punya experience dari awal ya. Mungkin briefly mungkin ya. Bisa nggak sih cerita dari lu sekolahnya di mana, habis itu kerja apa-apa gitu loh.
Yeah, for maybe like my new followers and people that might not know me, I my name is Gitta Amelia, and essentially I grew up in Jakarta, Indonesia, all my life, and I went to the United States for college. So I went to the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania, and that was really at the time, you know, and still is like one of the best business schools in the world. Some inspirational figures that went there, you know, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett. Unfortunately, Donald Trump also went there. That's something that I don't really say, but they have, you know, like really great finance alumni, and a lot of those finance alumni are working in New York and the stock exchanges around the world, and really drives a lot of the economy, a lot of capital flows. I can talk about finance all my life. It was my first love. But anyways, so I went to school there. I decided to take finance because I thought it was really cool. And then afterwards, as I mentioned to you before in my previous story, I decided to actually go off the beaten path. So one of the things at Wharton in my university that they always are super proud about is that they say that 99.99% of our graduates find a job before graduation, right? And then I was that 0.001% that doesn't have a job after graduation. And I thought that was super scary. And at that time, like all my friends had a job, and the jobs were high paying salaries, right? And they're like, "Git, lu udah dapet kerjaan belum?" "Ah, enggak sih, gua enggak belum cari sih." Gitu kan. Jadi and the reason why is because I really wanted to be a part of the movement here in Indonesia, where there's a lot of entrepreneurial activity. I saw that, you know, kok lama-lama di Indo tuh orang makin kreatif ya. Kok orang tuh makin mau punya usaha sendiri. Kok makin mau cari solusi untuk problems. And I saw that, well, this is a movement. And I want to be a part of it. How can I contribute? Well, I have a finance training, and I felt like I could contribute through venture capital. Kenapa? Karena venture capital adalah finance yang mendanai ide-ide inovasi terbaru di negara ini, di dunia. So I decided that I wanted to do that. I started my first fund through a lot of networking here and there, you know, flying by myself in Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, and whatever. And then that was called Everhouse. So I started that fund back in November 2017, dan di situ kita beraktivitas untuk mendanai dan mensupport entrepreneur, biasanya bukan anak lah, biasanya orang-orang yang umurnya mungkin sekitar 25-40 tahun. Kita bekerja sama mereka yang punya ide yang sangat kreatif, dan saya rasa ini adalah salah satu cara di mana saya bisa mengkontribusikan skills dan my education to be a part of this change of the economy. So from there, we were able to create many companies, and those companies have been able to become bigger and bigger, right? So some of the companies that you guys may know about, you know, like if you know Bobo Box, which is like a capsule hotel. Kalau dari segi capsule hotel, orang biasa yang melihat bisnis itu mungkin mengkhawatirkan beberapa hal ya kan dari segi kayak, oh kan banyak sekali kayak opsi lain gitu. Kenapa itu capsule hotel tuh harus ada di Indonesia? Well, we say that it's much more efficient. I think that the future is going this way, where, you know, people don't need that much space. We need smaller and smaller
Yes.
compartments, right? Another kind of company that we also fund a lot of like very deep technology companies that you don't hear about. Jadi kebanyakan kayak juga di bidang electricity, di bidang energy, yang B2B softwares, di mana kayak orang biasa mungkin tidak tahu, oh sebenarnya ini empowered by this software, right? So these softwares, for example, are used also in like malls and parking lots. Kita juga mendanai satu perusahaan yang waktu itu perusahaan anak-anak Jogja, namanya iKnow, dan sekarang tuh sudah terpakai payment gateway-nya, payment system-nya untuk seluruh Indonesia, untuk MRT, LRT, subway itu sebenarnya all the payment system is used by them, and when we found them, it was a very small company in Jogja. Kita juga mendanai one of my, I wouldn't say favorite, but I love what they do, honestly. It's called Eden Farms, and mereka itu mengconnect farmers kepada B2B businesses here, Horeca business. Mereka bekerja sama, jadi farmers ini, petani ini bisa mendapatkan source of income, bisa mendapatkan harga yang lebih baik. Jadi mereka itu juga bisa punya hidup yang lebih baik lah. Jadi kayak nggak usah bekerja sama dengan tengkulak. Dan bagaimana kita bisa meng-cut that supply chain adalah lewat digital technology and algorithms, right? So it's a tech-driven company that is able to do that. And sekarang kita sudah mempunyai 2,000 or so farmers inside Eden Farms that we are helping to increase their livelihoods. So that's what I did. And then I decided that, last year, kan kita sudah bekerja di Everhouse sudah 2 tahun gitu. I realized that most of the times when I was at work, it was with boys. Jadi kok setiap hari tuh ketemunya kok cowok terus gitu ya. And then I realized like, wait a minute, I'm a female, I'm a girl, I'm a woman. Kenapa saya tidak bisa bicara kepada lebih banyak wanita di Indonesia ini? And I just felt unfulfilled because, I saw that even in this career, in this industry of finance, itu banyak sekali lebih banyak orang cowok daripada cewek ya. And I feel like, wow, I need to have some way for me to inspire and for me to be able to talk to more females in Indonesia today, to tell them that you can do more. You are who you are unique. Let's celebrate who you are, and don't worry about what society says about you. You know yourself the best. So I realized that I needed a platform to do that, and there was no platform yet. So that was my why of starting Second Date. And I started Second Date with one of my best friends that I've known for 18 years now. And waktu itu kita kayak iseng-isengan aja, it's like, mau nggak kayak bikin this together, like, just to so we can like get that like wider audience, so we can like, just inspire more people. And one thing led to another, and I think like I really saw this also as like an outlet of like creativity for me. So we just have like so many creative ideas. Bagus nggak kalau kita bikin ini? Bagus nggak kalau ini boxnya dibagusin kayak gini gitu kan? Jadi kayak tambah lama itu proyeknya bisa lama sekali, yang dimana kayak kita mikir kayak mungkin kayak 6 bulan udah done gitu kan. Malahan tuh kayak because maybe we're both busy juga, kita kayak tambahin ide sampai lama sekali, dan akhirnya waktu kita launch.
Berapa total waktunya sampai di launch ya?
2 tahun.
2 tahun, oke.
Like, way too long.
Oke.
2 years, but it was like so many ideas just like put in there, and when we launched, I felt that okay, this is the response that I was getting from other girls was just overwhelming, and I thank you guys so much for your support. And like in the end of the day, like for the way I look at this is that this is my way, my channel, my vehicle for me to be able to hope to inspire the younger generation, especially women here in Indonesia, to be able to dream bigger and don't be afraid.
Ini lucunya ya guys, gue masih interesting note aja. Jadi tahun lalu gue baru ketemu kita pertama kali ini ya. So before that gue gak pernah ketemu dia gitu loh. Gue dikenal satu orang, diajak meeting. Orang coba bilang, wah Gitta ini pintar lah. Dia punya venture capitalist company. Ini sebelum Second Date ya by the way guys. Pikiran gue adalah orang Wharton, berarti kan orang finance banget kan. Dalam kepala gue tuh gue gak ketemu seorang perempuan muda yang mungkin pakai jas, kacamataan, pakai rok span, pokoknya tipe-tipe career woman yang mungkin kayak orang lawyer gitu. Itu pikiran gue kayak begitu. Pas ketemu dia, gue surprise banget ketemu Gitta. Loh ini kok bayangin gue sama yang actualnya beda banget gitu loh. Ini orang kayak masih muda, fun, kayak nggak ada career, maksudnya nggak ada image career woman. Dan gue juga tanya kepada Gitta langsung pribadi pas itu ya gitu ya. So I'm gonna ask this as well. Jadi pas itu gue cek Instagramnya Gitta ya kan. Terus gue liat, loh ini kok orang benar-benar nggak kayak career woman. kayak influencer, blogger segala macam. Jadi gue tanya kita ini, Git, ini image yang secara resume, secara CV lu itu kok beda sama lu punya image yang di Instagram? Apakah sengaja apa nggak sengaja? Boleh nggak share jawaban lu kayak gimana Git pas itu?
I forgot actually what I said, but I see this question again today. Social media is an amazingly powerful tool.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah. Hi, I can hear you. Why
I
am I
can't
stuck?
see you though. It's like...
Wait. Okay, wait a second. Wait. Okay, sorry. Can you see me now?
Yes, I can see you.
Sorry, go ahead.
Social media is an incredibly powerful tool to reach a lot of people. And the minute that I saw it that way, the minute that I realized that I could just be whoever I want on social media too. I live on a bunch of different platforms. I live on LinkedIn, I live on Instagram. And at that point in time, when I was starting my career, I wasn't that active on Instagram. I was more active on LinkedIn.
Okay, because you're a woman.
You're
a woman.
Yeah, and then I thought like, oh, maybe on my Instagram, I should portray myself a certain way, But then I thought about it, I'm like, is this way that I want to portray myself, is that really who I am? I'm like, no, that's not who I am. Okay, Gitta, think about it. Like, what if you had to say something to girls, what do you want to tell them? I want to tell them that they can just be themselves. They can walk into any meeting. They can walk into any meeting, like deal like for a couple $1 million, negotiate on behalf of like some term sheet, negotiate on behalf of like some corporate investor, and like be that person in that meeting room. But then outside, they can still just be a person. So I realized that I have nothing to hide. I just want to be myself. And I want to share also the other things that I love with other people, which is like food, music, art, beauty, cosmetics, fashion as well. And I don't think that, I know a lot of people might think like, oh, that's like conflicting. Is it like your image is conflicting? I'm like, no, I'm trying to make a message here. I'm trying to say that you can do all these things. You don't have to hide anything, any part of yourself. And I'm so glad that I stuck with that decision, because I get so many DMs every single day from like girls actually all around the world, not only in Indonesia, telling me that, Kak Gitta, like you inspire me so much because you have you're feminine, but then you also like work in a male-dominated industry.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, like a lot of them are like in business school, right? And then they aspire to also do a career in finance. And I think what in their mind, I'm sure what they're thinking, because at this moment, like I thought about that too. It's like, okay, if I go into this career, I'm going to sacrifice a big part of myself. And that's not true. You don't have to sacrifice that part at all. And in fact, you should be able to try to use that to your advantage, right? Like your femininity is a huge advantage a lot of times in business too. It's like you come there and then you soften things up, you add another perspective to the conversation. That's what I just want more women to understand.
Jadi boleh safe to say that your Instagram actually is your real person. Your persona adalah Instagram, benar ya?
I'd say that my real person is probably a mix of all of my different social media accounts.
Jadi kalau kalian mau tahu Gitta benar-benar harus follow semuanya, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, whatever that she has, benar kan?
Betul. I think that Instagram Live is like just a great way to just like be myself, honestly.
No, I think ini good point juga buat gue. Soalnya gue baru realize ini, I would say lately juga, mungkin about 2-3 years ago gitu loh. Sebelumnya kayaknya gue juga mikir kayaknya harus di box satu area, sebagai ibu, sebagai seorang ibu, sebagai seorang businesswoman, lu harus gini. Terus akhirnya gue pikir udahlah, gue mau be who I am on Instagram, gue sendiri bukan tipe yang pakai makeup, ya gue nggak bakal pakai makeup. Sampai ada orang tanya gue, lu kemana kok slide show ini interview kok nggak pakai makeup sih? Gue bilang ya emang gue nggak pakai makeup every day gitu, So this is who I am gitu loh. I'm not gonna pretend to be something or whatever it is gitu ya kan. So we can have our own identity whoever we are, benar kan?
Absolutely.
Nah, gue mau tanya lu nih, kenapa namanya nggak first date, kenapa namanya second date? Padahal kan usual orang pikir first date paling important. Kenapa second date? Apakah ada story meaning tertentu di balik ini semua?
Yes. So I actually came up with the name Second Date, but I didn't come up with the the fact that second and date, kan D-nya kan sama, jadi kita gabungin itu by accident because like our graphic designer forgot to put the two D's, and then
Oh my
we're like, oh,
gosh.
that's brilliant, you know what I mean? That was by accident. Tetapi the reason why it's called Second Date is because we realized that actually this entire conversation about having this beauty brand started when I was catching up with Titan, which was at that time like one of my good friends too, and we both just came back. We both just like reestablished our careers here. She was like a beauty blogger basically, right? And then she obviously asked me, so have you been dating? Have you been seeing any guys? And I was like, oh yeah, like there's like this one guy, we're going on a second date gitu kan. And then it's like, oh, second date, that it must be serious, ya kan? And then I was like, yeah, I mean, like, kan udah past the filter of first date. First date went pretty well, right? So,
I see.
so I was actually also by accident too, and I was like, ya udah kita. After that conversation, we started talking about like, oh, like I really want to do something with you. Let's just like make something together. At that time, kayak kita juga mikir kayak banyak ide gitu kan. Ya boleh yuk kayak passion project aja gitu kan. And then afterwards, kita kayak ngobrol-ngobrol, oh yuk kita bikin kayak Korean style, like more like lip tints that I think is more natural. Kita namanya apa ya? How about, and then we came up with like a whole list. And then finally I said like, oh, second date aja kan, karena kan ini something that I feel, I'm not someone that actually wears a ton of makeup. I feel like I wear more makeup now. Kenapa? Karena memang I have to like experiment with a lot of different things now. Tapi at that time I said like, I think that we should name it Second Date because I feel like if I'm on a second date, I'm not trying too hard. And I think that's what the message that we want to give people.
I see. Okay.
You don't have to try too hard, just be yourself. And, that's the time when you wear like more natural makeup.
Okay. You can be
I'm
more
wearing
of
Second
yourself.
Date today, by the way, guys.
Gue gak pakai apa-apa, by the way, guys. Karena mungkin udah gak second date aja, udah whatever lah ya.
Yeah.
Oke, ini ada pertanyaan iseng sih dari one of the followers bilang, kapan marriednya jadinya, Git?
Aduh, I'm single now, actually.
Jadi nggak tahu ya, jadi really fit to God lah ya, yang di atas ya.
Absolutely. So, and it's all a part of the process. I'm not in a rush. I think.
Well, you're young. You're very young.
Yeah. So when the time comes, it will come.
Wah, gue mau tanya ini, tadi ada pertanyaan juga, second date itu salah satu yang hebatnya itu adalah marketingnya sebelum di launch, benar kan? Dan sekarang ini pas di launch itu tiba-tiba swotnya cepet banget, benar nggak gitu? Kalau nggak salah less than 8 minutes ya udah habis terus sekali ya, benar nggak? Jadi 8 menit aja pakai Shopee sama apa Tokopedia ya?
We actually have our own website, so that's our main channel.
Okay.
And then
Jadi dari website, dari online Shopee itu biasanya 8 menit, kalau di launch 8 menit itu langsung boom, sold out gitu loh. Jadi kali ini gue juga dapetnya tuh benar-benar harus nungguin waktunya gitu baru tak dapet gitu. Kalau nggak dapet giveaway hari ini juga gitu loh guys. Nah, ada pertanyaan tadi, gimana sih kok bisa pikirin such a marketing genius gitu loh, kok pinter banget sampai bisa pas launch tiba-tiba so successful, so hype, itu gimana gitu story-nya?
Well, actually, it's only a marketing genius because it worked. But honestly, when we were planning it, I think like most oftentimes kita kayak selalu mikirin gitu kayak this is gonna work? It all sounds so stupid gitu kayak. When
so maksudnya lu juga surprise gitu dengan hasilnya kok bisa begitu luar biasa gitu responsnya.
Yeah, I think we were 50-50. Honestly, we would not try to do it if we didn't think like it was going to work.
Sure.
We believe that there was a chance that this was going to work, right? But I think it's a probability as well. And then, when it worked out, we were like, oh, it worked out. You know what I mean? And it's only like smart because it worked out. But if it didn't work out, then it wouldn't have been smart, right?
tapi gue merasa juga banyak orang suka karena produknya juga bagus. Jadi bukan cuma akan ada orang pintar marketing, tapi after itu kalau barang nggak bagus, si orang juga malas lagi kan. Tapi I think memang produknya populer gitu, orang suka pakainya, bener ya?
Betul. I think it's a combination of, the product itself is the one that took the longest process for us to make and develop, right? Karena banyak sekali R&D and sangat perfectionist. I don't know why. It's because like I think like for me and also like my partner Titan, we both felt like we didn't really have anything to lose in a sense where, like kita selalu mikir kayak, why are we doing this, right? We want to be able to talk to more people. So that means that the product really has to be good to be able to talk to these girls.
Agree. Yes.
And so really the product comes first, and that came up a really long discussion.
Yes.
And the marketing plan, the marketing strategy, we actually had a very minimal marketing budget. And I think when I tell this to people, people will be very shocked. Kenapa? Karena marketing budget kita tuh mungkin kayak less than, it's very, very minimal. In fact, like kita, in the beginning we were like, okay, kita marketing budgetnya literally kayak nol, guys, basically like 5 juta gitu.
Dua orang doang ya? Cuma 2 orang doang? Cuma 2 orang atau berapa orang dari tim lu pertama-tama yang pertama?
Sewaktu kita mikir konsep ini, kita 2 orang. And
Jadi lu sama si Titan itu kan?
Yeah, we didn't hire anybody. We didn't hire anybody until 3 months before the launch. So because 3 months before launch banyak sekali yang harus di-prepare.
Sure.
Dan kita konsepnya kayak kita ya udah kita outsource, like we work with partners, we work with vendors, right? So we don't need anybody on a payroll.
Yes.
And I think like I'm very fortunate too, because I've gone through so many different businesses with a lot of different ventures, and I've seen like the different structures about how they're organizing, how they're managing, and then I'm always kind of like a rebel, because I'm always like, if I see something and if it's working, I'm always thinking like, okay, how can I still make that better? Like, how is that like not efficient, right? So I decided that like, actually we don't need anybody right now. There's no need for it. We don't need to do that cost. And then also on the marketing too, it's like, actually we could do something, cheap that still works as well. So in the end of the day, it's a lot of like strategy. I think it's a lot of planning, definitely plan. And most important thing is, I think I need to say this because I have not said this before in any like seminar or talk that I said, but I was thinking about this the other day too. It's that you have to be a perfectionist. And you cannot not release anything that is not perfect in your opinion. And now I say it all the time to like all my staff. It's like, you know what? If you don't think it's perfect yet, don't release it. Jangan setengah-setengah. If you don't think you can execute this well, don't do it. So you have to be like 110% like perfectionist to be able to be confident enough to release it, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
itu
with the 5 juta, the ROI is insanely very high.
No, itu advice-nya bagus banget ya. Soalnya menurut gue adalah banyak orang memang cuma mediocre ya. I think mediocre is really not good. Tapi susah jadi perfectionist because you need a lot of work and a lot of thinking and planning. Nggak bisa cuma sananya doang aja keluar-keluar bareng kayak begitu ya kan?
Betul. I think a lot of people, the opposite end of the spectrum of perfectionists, what makes people like not perfectionists is because they're impatient, right? It's like, aduh ini udah lama banget, kita udah kerjain ini kayak 2 tahun gitu kan, ayo munculin aja gitu kan. Or ayo kita kayak kerjain campaign ini, tapi materi kan masih belum selesai, nggak apa-apa, udah lama banget, kita munculin aja. The startup mentality, the typical startup mentality that I work with is that, aduh, oke, luncurin aja gitu. Kayak kita belum selesai, semuanya belum siap, strateginya belum terlalu kebayang gitu, kita nggak apa-apa luncurin aja gitu. Tapi I think now I realize that like that's not the way to do it. It is like that mentality. It's not how you should approach your businesses. It should be with a perfectionist mindset. Apalagi dengan consumer. Karena kalau B2B ya mungkin kayak per client basis, then you cater to the client. Tapi kalau consumer, you only have one chance to really make it into this world.
Ini pengalaman gue juga sih, gue pengalaman ini, jadi gue ngerti banget maksud itu apa banget sih. Jadi I think tadi ada orang tanya kan masa advice buat young people ya. I think this is a really good advice. Be perfectionist, and also tadi yang you mentioned your values, you have to always have the values yang you always stick to it, right? And one of them is integrity, perseverance, ya kan, and also care for people. I think that's really important. Your employees, your consumers, pokoknya harus ada, jangan selfish lah, masuk pikir orang lain juga, bener ya?
Betul.
Ini jelas banyak banget yang ikutin kita punya ini si giveaway, dan kalian so lucky because dua hal ya, gue dapet loh, buat gue sebetulnya buat gue, cuma karena gue gak pakai makeup jadi gue bisa kasih giveaway ya kan. Tapi sebelum giveaway, biasanya gue ada rapid fire question untuk kita, ya kan? Git, ini adalah question yang gampang sekali. Lu jawab secepat mungkin aja ya, Git ya. Ready?
Okay, ready.
Okay. Buat lu, what is success?
Journey.
Okay. Bahasa apa aja yang lu bisa?
English, French, and Bahasa.
Chinese?
Oh, Itian.
Je parle petit le français.
Oui, un petit peu français aussi.
Apa warna favorit lo?
Dark green.
Wow, okay, very specific. Alright. Okay. Outfit apa yang setiap wanita perlu ada atau perlu punya?
Box span.
Oh,
That's
wow,
like
really?
knee-length.
I don't have that.
Knee-length,
Okay.
box span.
Alright. Lebih penting edukasi formal atau pengalaman kerja?
Pengalaman, tetapi bukan necessarily pengalaman kerja.
Oke. Lu prefer rambut pendek atau rambut panjang?
Rambut panjang sih, I miss my long hair now.
No, but you're fresh. I like it too. It's a different look.
Korean
Kalau gue
long
sih pendek sih rambut gue sih. Oke. Apa film favorit lo?
One of my favorite films would probably be apa ya? To be honest, I have this thing. This is actually a weakness of mine. Di mana kayak I would watch and I would enjoy a film, but I can never remember the title. I'm not sure why,
Okay.
but like just cannot remember the
Sekarang
title.
lupa jadi nih ya.
So like I have no idea.
Okay. Alright, it's okay. Alright.
No idea.
Lu lebih prefer sarapan pagi atau nyemil tengah malam?
Nyemil tengah malam.
Really? Oh, okay. Terus selain second date, apa merek favorit kosmetik lo?
Ordinary by
Apa?
one in Canada. It's called The Ordinary. It's like a skincare line.
Oh,
Skincare.
sorry. I don't know what that is. Okay. Orang yang paling buat lu frustasi adalah orang kayak gimana?
Oh my goodness, so many people.
Come on, just give me. What kind of people make you frustrated?
I think a lot of people. I think the ones that don't make me frustrated. I mean, the ones that make me frustrated are the ones that come to me with a problem without a solution. Sorry, maybe this is coming from someone who has like has had employees, lots of employees in the past juga kayak the ones that just like tell you a problem but don't tell you a solution. That is something. It's like as if like they're making you think, but then they don't want to think juga gitu. So I think that's a little bit annoying.
Okay. Jadi I think kind of like me when I said just now about orang yang cuma komplain doang. I think for me that's also a very big pet peeve sih, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay. Jadi Git, okay, so we're done with our questions interview, and I think a lot of people udah bisa belajar baik banget. Gua pribadi pun juga belajar baik dari Gitta, because Gitta for me is one of the inspiring women that I've met, even though masih muda banget umurnya. Tapi pertama kali gue ketemu dia, gue langsung amazed ya, because visi dia benar-benar jelas, dia tuh pengen kemana dan apa yang dia mau kerjakan tuh benar-benar ada purpose. Jadi bukan cuma make money atau populer, tapi ada isi gitu loh, berisi. Jadi I really like that ya. So I really want to thank you for your time here, Gitta. Nah sekarang momen yang banyak orang tunggu-tunggu adalah giveaway-nya. Kita ada 3 pemenang ya kan. Seperti kita bilang ya, adalah bahwa lu harus ada sekarang di sini di live show, kalau nggak gugur ya kan. Gue ada undi nama-nama tersebut tadi sebelum acara ini ya kan. Pas gue sebut namanya, kalian harus ketik ya di komen di bawah situ, bilang it's me atau ini gue ya. Kalau kalian disebut namanya langsung kerjakan. Kalau nggak ada namanya, kita move on to the next person. Siap Git? Siap everybody? Okay, the first name is Mari 202. Marie 202. Ada nggak? Mari MERIE 202.
Ya, Google dong, nggak ada orangnya.
Oke, kita hitung sampai 5 ya. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, Marie, you're out. Okay, next one. Wiranata Tasya.
Oh, Marie came out. Marie 202. She's
Oh,
here.
Marie. Okay, Marie's there. Marie masuk.
Yay,
Masuk.
congratulations.
Oke, ini lagi ngapa-ngapa. Oke, Marie dapat 1 ya. Oke, ada nggak Wiranata Tasya? Wiranata Tasya ada nggak? Oke, gue sebut nama selanjutnya dulu ya. Oke. Sharon Nathania. Sharon Nathania. Oke, yang Meri udah ada, Oke. Gue nunggu nama Wiranata Tasya sama Sharon Nathania. Ada nggak?
Oh, there she is. Yay,
Mana?
Tasha.
Mana? Gue nggak katan.
I found her, Wiranata Tasha. She's like me, it's
Ada.
me. Ada.
Tasya ada ya?
Sharon Natania juga ada.
Oh, Sharon Nathania juga ada muncul Sharon Nathania. Oke, good job. So,
Yay,
guys,
I'm so
sorry for the
happy.
rest. Oke, jadi Mari, Wiranata Tasya sama Chef, gue akan DM kalian untuk alamat kalian. Dan kalian beruntung, sorry ya. Gitta, kapan PO lagi buka buat yang lain mau nungguin second date nih?
Ooh, great question. Guys, we are so excited because basically the team now has been working on so many wonderful and great products. I think we have R&D'd a bunch of different products for you guys. And we are going to drop another lip tint batch sometime this month. So it's not going to be a PO system ya, jadi langsung beli ready stock this month.
Jadi kita harus follow second date punya Instagram ya, dapat informasi tersebut ya.
Yes, bisa follow second date. Everything is on that account.
Okay, guys, so don't forget ya. Gitta is such an inspiring woman, and second date is a really successful product. So I'm so happy to be able to learn and hear from Gitta, and I don't know her personally. So thank you, Gitta, for this time. I really appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah,
you so much.
and for all the
I had
winners,
so much fun today,
congratulations.
Grace, you're
Yeah.
so amazing. Thank you so much for having me on. Thank you, guys.
Thank you
I
so
hope
much,
you guys are
guys. See you
happy.
next week. Yeah, don't forget. Bye. Be safe, everybody.
Bye.